Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Real Estate with Ryan. So excited to be with you on a Saturday. We're talking our favorite topic. It's real estate. I hope you guys are having an amazing weekend. It's Saturday. Hard to believe, March. It's almost over, but spring of market is officially here. And we've got an amazing show for you guys. I thought it made sense, really, to talk about this as the spring market starts picking back up. And it's going to go full force right into kids getting out of school. We're talking about, hey, why buying or selling a home is one of the most stressful things you'll ever do. And it really is. We'll talk about that. Talk so much on the first half. On the second half, we have our Vol update. We'll talk about March Madness. We'll talk about Lady Vols in action. Of course, we got a little football time, East Tennessee here in April, spring game right around the corner, and so much more. So before we get going, let's start our congrats, get our new listings. A lot going on in the housing market today. Got some new listings. Let's talk about our new listing over on Ayler Gap Road in Maynardville in Tennessee. It's over 10 acres. And I'm telling you, we have so many people relocating to our area. And acreage is just key. Finding large tracts of land, homestead, subdivide, maybe with some chickens, animals, things like that. It's just hard to find. And make sure you check this property out. It just went live. It's on our website. Also, check out our brand new cabin, 409 Matterhorn Drive in Gatlinburg. Let's see, we got 11630 Monticello Road in Knoxville. That's a great property. Village Green, beautiful 2-story, built in 76, sunroom off the back. Kitchen is amazing. Take the backyard, if you got kids, animals, it's one of the most amazing backyards. And comparing with some buyers we had in town that were out-of-town buyers, finding a great backyard in Farragut, in the location that you're looking for, it's just hard to find. So make sure you check this property. It just went on the market this week. If not this weekend, it'll be out early part of next week. Congrats to our sellers on 7726 Misty Point Way in Knoxville. And, of course, as always, we have some Vol updates on the second half, a Lady Vol action, some tickets, and some more actions there. Let's see here. Talking about the real estate market, talking about stressful, talking about why buying or selling can be one of the most stressful things that you'll face. You say, well, Ryan, you guys don't do nothing. I appreciate you in sales and you sell real estate, but I really think most agents, they just put the sign in the yard or they put it in the MLS and you guys just kind of do your thing. Well, that's the impression of most real estate agents, or that's the impression sometimes the public has. But it's far from the truth. It's really far from the truth. If you had a chance to kind of follow our team and what we do, you'd be amazed. But I had a little story talking about why buying or selling a home is stressful. Had a great client this weekend, was a builder, and had some clients that wanted to look at this custom build. It's only about a year old, and my guy's a little bit old school. Old school, wants to be at the property. He was eating in the area. He said, Ryan, I'm around. If they have some questions, I kind of like hands-on. He's an old car guy. Been in the business for a while. But he likes to talk to him. He likes to, give him all the information, kind of how he built and designed it, kind of his creative mind, which is always helpful, right? And so happened that we had an opportunity to show the buyer, the seller or the builder got together, they discussed, he gave them the envisions, and the buyers really enjoyed that. What you don't see in today's market, how often do we see buyers and sellers even get together, especially builders, right? We see a lot of new construction homes, but having the builder on a custom build, having the opportunity to discuss some of his envisions and questions that the buyers, maybe just now when they're in front of the screens, right? They're just looking in front of the screens and going through that process. It's kind of a cold process, right? You really don't have any kind of story behind the property and the history. And that's what we talk about emotional while you're buying or selling. Both buyers and sellers in today's market, it's one of the most stressful things you can do. Am I making the right move? Is it the right decision? What about this property? What about the one next to me? Is that a rental? What's going on here? And so all these things go through the buyer's mind. And Anyway, the long story short, to get back and why it's one of the most stressful things that you're going to do, is we had an opportunity to talk. We discussed an offer. We put a deal together. We went back and forth. We went late into the evening and to the next day. And then ultimately, the husband decided that, it wasn't for him. He couldn't come together on the terms. I think he had a little cold feet. And that's okay. And that's real estate, right? When you're spending almost $1 million, it's okay to get cold feet. It's okay that if you don't feel good about it, we don't want you to move forward with it, right? But those things happen. But anyway, going back to why, kind of piggybacking why it's the most stressful thing you do, my builder said, Ryan, I don't know how you do what you do. I wouldn't have any of it. Wouldn't do it, couldn't do it. You couldn't pay me enough. And that's kind of just getting back to why it's most stressful. And in the public, you think, well, you real estate agents don't do anything. Really, in today's market, in any market, you've got to have a great agent in your corner. That's why we do this show every week. Get a feel of what we do, who we are. Hey, you say, hey, I like that guy. Maybe I don't like that guy. It's fine. But we do this show to kind of give you that personal experience, right? If you think about it, you say, well, hey, that builder was there. He wanted to share his personal experience. We want to share our experience, kind of some of the stories, the history, just topics, but give you an indication of what we do to help people. And buying or selling is stressful because, number one, it's one of the largest decisions you'll ever make. And there's a lot more than a sign or that goes into buying or selling. Whether it's investment property, your residence, or your first-time home, there's so much that's involved. Maybe you've been there 45 years, like some great sellers that we're selling now, raised both of your kids, and you're in your 70s, and now you're moving. How do you handle that? You don't handle it alone. And then you have a great team to support you and kind of walk you from that start to finish. And there's a lot involved, right? The emotions run high. It is an emotional move, both for guys and gals, right? One of the biggest decisions we made was when my daughter was born. It was the house that she was born in. We brought her home in a little carriage. I'm the soft one in the house. Don't laugh. I'm not the soft one, but as whole. But I get emotional. Maybe it's a guy thing. My wife's a little bit stronger, maybe because she was a nurse and, she's a lot stronger than me. But, my babies, I got my babies. My daughter was born there. And, it's special, right? It doesn't matter how big the house, little house, it's emotional, right? And have an opportunity for your firstborn or no matter what, those are important. You carry your little baby carrier and you got your dog babies and your daughter took your first steps. Those are things that are important, man. And you think about it, life is so short and life goes so quick, right? We all know that, right? Listen to this radio show, we say, hey, right, it's quick. We're moving every week. We're moving. And it seems like the older that we get, the time speeds up. My kids, I look at Facebook, if you watch those memories, they pop back up. And then it's like, hey, man, that was just a couple years ago. It was like yesterday. And so when you're buying or selling, there's an emotional tie to it. And then on top of that, it's time sensitive. Ryan, I've got to sell this one before I can buy another one. I've got to sell this one before I buy that one. And oh, by the way, the seller won't take a contingency. He wants me to close on the same day. How am I going to do that? Oh, by the way, Ryan, the market's a little challenging. The interest rates are there. I need to get this price, Ryan, or I can't make the move. Financially, all those things come into play. It has to happen, Ryan. By the way, now I've sold this property. What am I going to do? We've got an appraisal here, got an appraisal there, got an inspection. Oh, by the way, the movers, I have to move the movers back. The buyer's loan got pushed back a week. You can see that there's a lot of uncertainty as well into the market. I don't know if it's coming, I'm going, is my house closing? And then emotions run high, tempers run high. Lots of calls, late nights, closing now. We had to cancel the movers yesterday. Not that they're a complete cancel, but we knew that the lender's not going to get the appraisal and the underwriting in time. And then everything has to happen at once. Not everybody has the luxury of selling their home, buying the next one, closing, or just buy the first one and say, Ryan, I'll come back and sell it. Not everybody can do that in today's market. And not everybody wants to do that as a smart move, right? Not everybody says that's the smart move. Because, hey, maybe I can do that, Ryan, But the uncertainty, I've got my house over in Ohio. I need to sell, but the market's a little soft there too. I'm thinking I'm going to get 650, but what if I don't get 6? Now my numbers and my budget are not where we need to be. So you can see today's, we're driving real estate is so stressful because emotions are highs and lows, and the whole process is stressful, both buyers and sellers. 90% of homeowners say that selling a home is stressful, but 40% say it's very stressful. We're coming on the second half of the break. We're going to talk about so much of this and more, both buyers and sellers. Stay with us. Second half Real Estate with Ryan coming up.
When speed matters, every second counts.
Wow, that was fast.
In real estate, speed is an advantage.
In football, speed is crucial.
In softball, speed is game-changing.
If you want your home sold fast,
Trust Ryan Coleman and his team at Hometown Realty for fast results.
Thanks, guys. Go Big Orange.
Hometown Realty is East Tennessee's #1 real estate group and a proud sponsor of the Vols.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty. The real estate market's changing every day. You need to know your home's value in today's market. Text your home address to 290-2290 for an instant, no obligation home evaluation. That's 865-290-2290. And remember, when you're ready to sell, we have a guaranteed sale program to get you in your next home stress-free. Trust your hometown experts. We've helped thousands of people just like you. All right, we're back at it. Second half Real Estate with Ryan. You guys already know it's weekend. It's Saturday. Anything goes. And we're talking about why buying or selling real estate is one of the most stressful things you can do. And there's a lot of things that we'll get into in the second half. Why it's stressful. We're talking about the first half that 90% of homeowners say that selling a home is stressful. 40% say very stressful. 88% of homeowners say they have fears about selling, inspections, pricing. And all these things come into play. We're going to do a deep dive in this second half. Hope you enjoy this show. It's a broad topic. But buying or selling is a big move. And it comes down to the agent that you choose. That's why we do this show. Man, you want somebody that's a team that will help you and walk you from start to finish. I mean, we've sold several thousand homes. It's a lot of homes, not bragging, but we've done it a time or two. Experience matters. There's new agents. I get it. There's people that have kind of just got in the business, been here a couple of years, but it's experience. I'm telling you, when it comes down to it, when the market's changing, when it's all on the line, you need a team that can start from start to finish, be that counselor, right? Be with that couple that's stressful or that big move or the movers being delayed, and keep the calm, right? You know, you can't, the challenge about, I say in real estate or being a great business professional is, you know, you can't get emotional. You can't get high. You can't get low. You got to be even keel across the whole process. You know, you can't jump, you know, we do several deals and, you know, I'm not picking on anybody. But the deal starts challenging, right? And you've worked with an agent or somebody on the other side where they start getting emotional and they start getting worked up, and then they start working themselves up to, well, we've got to do this and we've got to do this. And it's like, okay, calm down. It's going to be okay. You got to be a smooth operator. You got to be calm, because as a buyer or seller representation, they're looking for you to be the expert and to walk you through this. And at the end of the day, make that buying and selling and closing and all that in the same day and make it happen. And we've just done that a time or two. And so obviously, if you're thinking about buying or selling this year, anything in the world we can do for you, we're here for you. It's what we do. You can check us out on our website, ryancoleman.org. I mean, you just Google me. We're everywhere. But reach out to me. If there's something that we could do on our website, you can get an estimate of your home's value. You don't even have to talk to me. Just kind of see where you're at. That's always the first part, to see where the numbers, see where the market's changing. If it's up, is it down? But then, you know, there's a process. And to avoid the stress in this move, you want to plan early. Getting us out. We have some great clients that are selling in May and June. And we just went to meet them at their house, did a walkthrough, went through the property. Hey, Ryan, I'm going to do these things. What do you think about this? That's key, because you're getting these things done, unlike we talked about in the first half. everything at once. Everything's timing. And it seems like there's just a lot of uncertainty. 65% of buyers say they've lost sleep when trying to find a new home. All those things come into it. Before I get going too far in the show, I've got a 60-second vol update, and then we'll get right back into it. All right, drum roll, please. 60-second vol update. We got a lot going on. Lady Vols in action. Ole Miss, Tennessee, big-time game today, 2 o'clock. Go figure. Sherry Parker Lee Stadium. Vols are on fire. Great season. Carlin's back. Glad to see her out there. And I like that everybody we've been able to send to some games. We appreciate your pictures, your videos. It means a lot. And, of course, we have a game on Sunday tomorrow, 1:30. If you can't check out one of them. And congrats to our winners that were able to go see the game, courtesy of Hometown Realty. March Madness, big-time action. And then, of course, what do we have? Spring football right around the corner. It's hard to believe it. Orange and white game is coming up. Didn't cost anything to get in. Make sure we check out our Vols. It's going to be exciting. Hope to see you guys there. And, of course, we got some Lady Vol action. We got some people leaving the portal. Got all kind of movement there. But I'm excited. I think we're going to see some movement there that's going to shock a lot of people. So a lot of things happening, a lot of movement. Make sure you like, share, and follow all of our posts. Hometown Realty. We've got tickets, giveaways, autographs. We're doing that for Vol Nation. So all you got to do is like, share, and follow. We've got you covered. Hometown Realty, proud sponsor of the Vols. Go Big Orange. Getting back into the show. Talking about buyers, uncertainty, credible risk. You know, as buyers today's market, as a first-time buyer in today's market, the average age is 38 years old for a first-time home buyer. It's not even feasible. So, you know, that's where we've gotten to. How is that not stressful? I can't live in mom's basement forever. It ain't happening, right? But these are big moves, deep dives. You know, if you're buying a home, you're borrowing hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you ever go buy a home, you buy it for, let's just say, $400,000. Go to the closing table, do all the paperwork. You look at the little financial disclosure and you say, how am I paying $800,000, double when I'm in? $800,000? Yes. If you're financing for 30 years, you'll pay double the house. Scary. 30-year payments. How about using life savings, reserves, funds to fund down payments? Some of your fears when you're buying, what if I lose my job? That's real. Repairs. Right? And one of the biggest things is they don't want to overpay in today's market. What if I need to sell, but I can't get rid of it? We talked about in the first half. Call me big softy, my wife will laugh. But the emotional attachment goes to guys and gals, right? Kids grew here. Holidays. I had a tough situation the other day. Couples divorce. It's always tough for me. You're going through the home and you see the kiddos on the walls and the pictures. And, you know, it's tough. And you had families and then you had things that just didn't work out. Sometimes life, it doesn't work out. But, you know, you got one's living in the basement and one's there and different scenario. And it's like, it's tough, man. So a divorce sale is tough. And sometimes it can be real messy. And guess who's in the middle? Yours truly, right? But you have to be trained and be able to help both parties on that. The dream home, the future plans. How about our seniors? How many we're helping? They've been there their whole life. And now they're downsizing. Their health is not where it needs to be. And they don't want to leave, but it's what they have to do, right? And assisted living is many places where the seniors that we have working with, it's not what they want to do, but it's their best decision. You know, it's tough. So the real estate market, buying or selling, there's a lot of pressure. And time, unfortunately, is pressure situations. We call it in our contracts. Time is of the essence. And it's so true. There's offer deadlines you have to deal with, inspection deadlines, closing deadlines, moving dates. Everything stacks up. One misstep and the whole deal collapses. The pressure just builds and builds. And for some, it's too much. You know, and so That's why you have to delegate. You say, Ryan, I'm not dealing with the stress. You take care of it. I've got to do the hard part. I call the movers, etc. But I'm not. I'm going to pass it to you. And that's what you're doing. You're delegating to us. That's what we do. Things are out of your control. We have the type A personalities. They have their spreadsheets. They got everything lined up. They want it. They want everything to go. Inspection check, appraisal check, loan approval check. It just doesn't happen like that. It doesn't. Sellers back out. You put it on the market. You have to be able to adjust or have your agent adjust. And for some, that will drive you crazy if you can't manage the process. But trust your agent. Trust your team. You've hired them for a reason, right? You've hired our team for a reason. I know you want to micromanage. I know you have your list. But sometimes you got to trust your team. You brought a coach in to coach the team, but you're still coaching from the stands. You trust your coach, but you're telling them how bad they're doing, how they can't do this. And you wonder why you run the coach off. Sound familiar? Emotional roller coaster. Listings go live. Lots of showings. I mean, how do we do all these things? How do we manage? Sellers get stressful. Is pricing correctly? Keeping the house clean. Let me talk about that. Keeping the house clean with pets and animals. The lows. No showings, Ryan. We had an offer. It didn't work out. Inspection failed. What are we going to do? How about these repairs? They're asking for everything, Ryan. They want me to rebuild the house. Buyers, affordability, fear of overpaying, appraisal. Lender keeps asking me for all these things. It's stressful. But understand that when you're buying or selling, that is real estate. It's one of the best moves you can make. And at the end of it, when it's done and it's sold, you can go to our website of all of our people. It will be one of the best moves you make. But we're here. Get a great team to help you from start to finish. I hope you've enjoyed this show. I enjoy spending my Saturday with you. Hope you have an amazing weekend, and we'll see you back next weekend. Take care.